So here's a story we've heard a billion times before on YouTube. What if I told you this little box, smaller than a hardcover book, could replace an entire audio rack of equipment that someone spent thousands of dollars on in the 80s or 90s? And what if I told you it could do it better? How many times have we heard this same message? Yes, we get it. Good audio can come in a small package these days, but let's also be realistic. Not everything is a game changer. Today we're looking at the SMSL AS400, but this isn't just another amplifier review. I'm going to explore how devices like this are disrupting the traditional hi-fi industry for better or worse. Before we dig into the AS400, we need to talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say the elephant that used to be in the room. Large traditional hi-fi systems, and you know the type, separate DAC, preamp, power amp, phono stage, each coming in its own, in many cases, large box. Little side note there, the large hi-fi system is still in multiple rooms in my house and it isn't going anywhere, but I do still enjoy these for desktops, smaller spaces, smaller rooms, even soundbar replacements, and that's why I still enjoy covering amps like this today. Everyone has different needs, and that's perfectly okay. For decades, the audio industry convinced us that bigger meant better. More boxes meant more quality. And here's the thing, it was kind of true in the 70s and 80s. Today, we're living in an age where your smartphone has more processing power than the computers that sent humans to the moon. You can really do a lot with a little. The SMSL AS400 is a perfect example of how this desktop-sized all-in-one component revolution is changing the ways people think about hi-fi systems. And I just want to preface that with a lot of the advancement in hi-fi are great, but not everything. I think the biggest area that we're missing in hi-fi these days is the soul. There's definitely a reason people still gravitate to vintage audio. The build, the engineering, sometimes it's not just about the sound quality, it's about how you connect with the gear as much as how you listen to it. The single unit we're looking at today has a high-performance DAC with the CS43131 chip. At 4 ohms, a 160 watt per channel Class D amplifier using Infineon's MA5332MS, a dedicated phono preamp for vinyl, a headphone amplifier with both 4.4mm balanced and 6.35 outputs. It supports LDAC, aptX, aptX HD, SBC and AAC, and a USB interface that handles up to 786 kHz and 32-bit. It's certainly not the first to offer these specs. It's similar to a number of the other designs, and that's something you're going to notice when you shop a lot of the newer all-in-one units. A number of them are going to use the same DAC and amp chips, so my personal suggestion would be to shop the features. This one covers a nice spread: headphones, speakers, preamp functions, HDMI, and even turntable support. And just a quick example of shopping for your needs, the quirk feature that sticks out to me on this one that may differentiate it from some of the others is that phono input. It feels a bit out of place as many of these are going to live on a desktop, but for the right user, the AS400 might be the perfect centerpiece for their setup. And with a phono input that I found to be perfectly adequate for the casual enthusiast, it might fit their needs perfectly. Taking a quick look what an all-in-one unit gets you in 2025, you get the AS400, a remote, a power cable, an antenna, USB and HDMI cable. The build quality is what I would expect from SMSL at this point. It really doesn't have a low budget feel. It's a solid aluminum chassis with CNC machine panels in a mixture of silver and black. The volume knob is decent, no complaints there. None of that scratchy potentiometer nonsense on some of the really low budget designs. And really, this thing is tiny compared to traditional components. I've literally seen power supplies bigger than this entire unit. Yet somehow, SMSL managed to pack everything in. There's RCA inputs, USB for your computer, optical and coax digital inputs, a phono input with a ground post, Bluetooth antenna connection, speaker binding posts that are they're decent to the budget variety, but they accept a decent sized cable, a subwoofer output for 2.1 setups, and HDMI, which I want to touch on before I go any further here. I'd love to let you know how well this could work as a soundbar replacement, but the HDMI is limited to ARC, no eARC or CNC functionality. What that means for you is it's not going to power itself on and off with your TV, and the volume will need to be controlled from the included remote rather than being able to use the TV remote to control everything. It still works, but as far as usability goes, it does take a little bit of a hit there, and it's just an area that I like to focus on, so I thought it needed to be mentioned. Getting into the tech, at the core of this one is that Infineon MA5332MS amplifier chip. This isn't the Class D of yesterday where it sounds like a tin can. This is modern, ultra-efficient amplification that delivers 165 watts per channel into 4 ohms with low distortion. That being said, modern Class D in general sounds pretty good. In some cases, it sounds really good. In the budget variety like we're seeing here, it's pretty good and well above a passing grade. It may not replace my favorite Class A/B amps, but it's also priced at a fraction of many of the designs that I cherish. At the very least, this offers very clean power. You can get a lot from one of these paired up with the right speaker, and I mention that because your speaker selection is going to have a lot more impact than the amplifier in this case. The DAC section uses that CS43131. The chip can be found in some higher-end portable players and dongles, costing in some cases decent money. It supports native DSD 256, PCM up to 768, and this is an area where I do appreciate the budget audio scene. It's a really low distortion design with some trickle-down technology. The products are getting better, slowly mind you, but the price is right. You just can't deny we see a lot of really similar products in this price range. There's more than I could even review. A person could probably make an entire channel of the $100 to $300 price point and never run out of material. That's just not my thing, but I do try to mix in the ones that I find interesting. That's sort of the exhausting side of this, but the positive note there is we keep seeing incremental improvements. It may seem like the same product year over year, but if you take a look back 5 years ago, the all-in-ones that have came out over the last 12 months blow them out of the water as far as features, connections, and power. Speaking on real-world performance, what does a roughly $300 amp get you when you're testing it with everything from sub-$200 bookshelf speakers to $2,000 plus floor standards? First impression, there's plenty of power in most cases. Pair it with an efficient bookshelf speaker and you get everything you need and more for reasonably sized spaces. The dynamics are explosive, the sound is clear, really a lot to like. The other side of the coin is when you pair this with a difficult to drive speaker, you may desire a bit more power for dynamics. None of this really surprised me. It's a device that belongs with reasonably easy to drive speakers, and when done so, it does impress with clean amplification and plenty of volume. The headphone output left me with a similar feeling. They don't seem to have the power levels posted anywhere, but it delivered a balanced, refined sound with plenty of power when paired with the appropriate drivers. It felt a bit pushed with the more challenging designs in comparison to some of my higher powered headphone amplifiers, but if you're using anything from IEMs to mid-level sensitivity headphones, I found the volume and sound profile to be perfectly adequate for enjoyable long listening sessions. This brings us to the bigger picture, kind of the topic that I alluded to earlier. Are products like this just a product, or is it a statement? The traditional hi-fi industry has been selling us on complexity and size, but can all of this be replaced with technology? Think about it like this. A traditional setup with similar capabilities to the AS400 would require a standalone DAC, a phono preamp, an integrated amplifier, a headphone amp. In all reality, that could range anywhere from $500 on the budget side to well over $2,000. The AS400, well, last I checked, it was $279 on Amazon. Do I feel that traditional manufacturers are panicking? No, I really don't. I think we easily have room for both in this space. Hi-Fi has always been a game of incremental improvements. Many are willing to pay more for better designs, more elaborate engineering, and better materials. And others, they're simply not. Neither person is right or wrong in this case. Think of it like buying a car in the various trims that are available. For many, that Corvette Z51 will be all that they need and more. For the next guy, he might spec out a Z06. Both get a lot for the money, but one has more capability. Neither may ever use the full capabilities, but that's really none of my business. I feel the same way in audio. Shop for your needs, and in some cases, wants. So who do I think the AS400 is for? I think it's perfect for apartment dwellers who value space, or for people building their first serious audio system. It's great for the younger generations just getting into audio. Anyone with mixed source setup, vinyl, digital, streaming, home office setups that pull double duty with music, and those upgrading from soundbars or basic receivers, but do keep in mind that HDMI functionality that I mentioned earlier. It's maybe not for the person who needs more than 165 watts per channel. I'd rate this up there to medium room safe with reasonably efficient speakers. If you plan to use this in an office or smaller space, it's going to be plenty loud with most pairings. Also, someone who is primarily buying this for a dedicated headphone amp. It has adequate power, but as always, shop for the power levels needed by your drivers. And finally, for the people who enjoy collecting separate components. For some people, finding synergy between components is the best part of hi-fi, and I do get it. It really opens you up to finding all the connections and features you want between products. The value proposition here is really good if it fits your needs. You're getting what I would call, somewhere around 80% of what a $1,000 separate system offers for under $300. That remaining 20%, I would say that's spread between sound quality that you may or may not hear depending on your source, speakers, and ears, and then just the connections and features. This has a decent spread of both, but higher end designs are a bit more polished in this regard. The SMSL AS400 is a worthy buy for the right audience. Its convenience, size, and sound make it a great value for the price. Is it perfect? No. I wouldn't mind a bit more power for speakers and headphones. Some might want more analog inputs, and I do wish the HDMI integrated better with TVs. But at under $300, a lot of this is nitpicking. What do you think? Are traditional separates on the way out? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to see more reviews that challenge some of these topics, hit subscribe. And until next time, this is Matt Kuykendall. Take care. Talk soon. Later.